Well, I'm joined now by Jonathan Russell from the counter-extremism organisation, the Quilliam Foundation. He's in our central London studio. One of the concerns about David Cameron's speech is that it could alienate some Muslims further. How can he avoid doing that, do you think?
Well, I think it's very, very important to take Muslim communities with us in this civil society generational struggle against extremism. How we do that is of vital importance. One key element that the Prime Minister will set out later on is challenging the narratives of Islamist extremism, one crucial element of which is conspiracy theory. These conspiracy theories and the Islamist narrative generally seeks to shut down debate and seeks to alienate their own communities, minorities within minorities, women, young people in Muslim communities who are very often voiceless. Now, while many of the traditional community leader types who speak on behalf of all Muslims or claim to will indeed say that the Prime Minister seeks to shut down debate and seeks to bypass Muslim communities. I think what the Prime Minister wants to do, what Quilliam would like to do, is to hear from a greater range of people who don't buy into these conspiracy theories but are willing to integrate with British society, fight extremism, are willing to challenge subversive ideologies that ultimately underpin groups like ISIL.
The problem with conspiracy theories is that they're often quite compelling and there may be a grain of truth in one part of it which then becomes embellished. How can the Prime Minister tackle that? By just simply delivering a different narrative isn't going to change people's minds if they believe these theories, is it?
I agree. There is no point us just talking across each other. One crucial way that we can do this, therefore, is through our excellent educational establishments. Through our schools and universities. If from a very young age we're promoting critical thinking, we're promoting pluralism in terms of identity, we're promoting the differences between Islam and its political exploitation Islamism, then we can start to build new generations who aren't susceptible to these conspiracy theories and these narratives, whether they are inevitably founded on half-truths, a black and white view of the world, myopic views of Jewish influence, for example, or overzealous surveillance. I think really these things can be countered through education, and when this speech from David Cameron is followed up with a coherent strategy later this autumn, I fully expect there to be robust educational implications for responsibilities for teachers and engagement with young people.
I mean, the fact that you're pointing out that it's something that we have to introduce into schools, long term. Also, David Cameron's use of the phrase a generational struggle. Is there an acceptance, do you think, that this is something that is not going to be resolved within 5 years, within 10 years? Maybe it's going to be 20 years before this is a problem that the UK government feels it has some control over?
Well, I think it is likely to be a long-term problem, and therefore not a problem that's going with a military, not the problem that's going to be solved with a legislation, not a problem that's going to be solved with increased surveillance. And that is why now this government is looking to a long-term plan. I understand that the Prime Minister is going to set out a 5-year approach to this with funding and with a bit of continuity and comprehensiveness in terms of the institutions with responsibilities for this, but also one that looks to engage civil society with the necessary capacity to do this at a grassroots level, with increased engagement with Muslim communities, also important for this.
Increased engagement, but how can you practically integrate much more than has happened so far?
Well, the problem we face is that there are many young Britons who don't feel a part of British society, to the extent that they feel more in common with a group like ISIL, whose values run completely against universal human rights values, the values you might expect in a liberal democratic nation like ours. Now, while integration may sometimes manifest itself in terms of employment opportunities and financial stability, I think the important thing is how people feel in tune with British values and with these human rights values. And if we can promote these thoughts and these ideas, then logically it follows that the unthinkable poisonous ideas of Islamist extremism don't then translate into the inevitable violent actions that they so often do.
Okay, Jonathan Russell from the Quilliam Foundation, thanks very much.